Okay.
8 top motorsportsmen competed in the 4th round of the Firestone Master Driver Series in Lichtenburg recently. Driving identical Toyota Corollas fitted with them stones, the action promised to be fast and furious. Let's meet the 8 stars. Natal's Tony Ball has earned a reputation for consistency in national championship rallying and also has track experience.
First year, it's a bit daunting because you're mixing it with guys from the track and that, but I think this year I'm a lot more confident about it. This Group N type racing frightened me at first, with the traffic and the closeness. You know, rallying you're on your own, you don't know any other competitors.
Capetonian Nic De Waal is one of the most aggressive and determined race and rally drivers currently competing in South Africa.
Fortunately, I've had experience in both of them, and therefore I would like to see myself having a reasonable chance in the Master Drivers. Last year I was 2nd overall, and I would certainly like to increase on that this year and better that.
Veteran Springbok rally driver Kassie Coetzee is on the comeback trail and has lost none of his competitive edge or flair.
Die groot geheim moet koelkop bly en jy moet konsentreer op wat jy doen en jy moet skoon en vinnig en netjies bestuur en dan het jy daai goeie sekondes waarvoor jy soek.
Flamboyant Russell Wood is a multiple South African motorcycle champion who is still recovering from injuries after his recent accident at Kyalami.
Well, last year I went in and I was asking Mark Briggs, you know, where are you braking, where do you change gears? Never driven a car around the track before, and I was the 3rd guy to go out and qualified about a 2nd quicker than next guys on pole. And it was funny, Mark was coming over to me and saying what gears was I using, because we didn't drive a VW, which were the cars at the time. But it's at Lichtenberg the last round, and I've never driven or ridden there before, so it'll be a new circuit to me. And I'm just hoping that I can go well and hopefully get into the finals.
Known as the little man with a big heart, top car racing personality Willie Hepburn is a racer through and through.
I see in round 4, which I compete in, there's some very competitive drivers, and it's going to be very difficult to beat a few of those guys, the rally drivers particularly, because the rally really makes up quite a big part of the competition.
Round is another Capetonian who has earned a reputation for being one of the quickest standard saloon car drivers in the country.
Okay, I've never driven on the circuit before, so that'll be very strange to us, so it'll probably take quite some time to settle in. So we'll probably do a bit of settling in actually during the race, so, but it'll be good fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Former South African rally and off-road champion Grobler is one of the most versatile drivers and race engineers in South Africa.
Ons sal seker moet uitgaan en kyk wat ons kan doen. Ek hoop ek kan 'n karretjie te leen kry om daarom net te voel hoe ry hy. Maar ons moet as ek dink as jy al 3 redelik ernstig vat en nie probeer om die kar te breek om al 3 te wen nie, dan behoort ek ou deur te gaan al na die eindronde toe.
The son of a famous father, Shaun van der Linde is one of a pack of young lions coming to the fore in South African motorsport.
I would say the Gymkhana, the autotest, because I mean you can drive, but you don't every day do handbrake turns and that kind of thing. But it's something you have to get used to. I'll just try my best and just give all that I've got.
Highlights from the 4th round of the Firestone Master Driver Series will be broadcast on Top Sport tomorrow night. You don't want to miss the action. The western Transvaal town of Lichtenburg provided the venue for the final qualifying round of the Firestone Master Driver Series recently. 8 more of South Africa's top motorsport stars were to do battle in standard Toyota Corollas fitted with standard steel belt Firestones for the last 2 places in the Master Driver final. As usual, the 8 hopefuls would be put through their paces in a rally special stage, auto skills test and track race. With just 2 places up for grabs in the final, there was going to be plenty of pressure. First course on the menu was the rally stage.
You've seen where we have marked with crossed arrows, danger, warning, triangles and that sort of thing. Please take it carefully. Don't go and write the cars off. We've had a lot of cars damaged in previous events. Let's have a clean round this time, please.
Once again, drivers drew lots for starting positions, and while there was plenty of good-natured joking, the tension was starting to build. Each driver was given a practice run over the 3-kilometer stage before tackling the course against the clock.
Move me closer, bud. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Blonde Italian Russell Wood looks more like a surfer than a motorsport ace. Still in his early 20s, Wood has won 4 South African 250 Grand Prix motorcycle championships and is one of the most flamboyant and spectacular riders around. Still suffering from a leg injury, the legacy of a heavy fall at a recent Kyalami race, Wood demonstrated that he is no slouch when it comes to 4 wheels. A slight mistake at the end of his run cost Wood a couple of seconds, but the only motorcyclist in the 8-man field did enough to finish up a creditable 6th. In track racing circles, Willie Hepburn is known as the little man with a big heart. Hepburn's speciality is racing thundering V8-powered monsters in modified saloon car racing, and his never-give-up attitude and aggressive style have made him a favorite with race fans throughout the country. The Firestone Master Driver Series rally stages have a habit of providing the track racing fellows with a few problems. Hepburn almost came unstuck when he overshot a tricky section of the course and came to a halt just short of a deep donga. To compound his problems, he stalled the Toyota, and the lost time put him right out of the running. Cape Town-based John Round is another driver who's made his mark on the track. Round is one of the top drivers in standard saloon car racing with a smooth style. Belting at high speed through a quarry on the outskirts of Lichtenburg is a little out of character for Round, but he led home the track fraternity in 5th place.
3, 2, 1.
Former national champion Hannes Grobler has been among the top echelon of South African rally drivers for many years and is vastly experienced in a wide variety of machinery. The race cam provides a magnificent view of a top rally driver at work. It can get a little hectic in the cockpit of a competition car being driven at its limit on a rough and slippery surface. Grobler is a master of his craft, and after setting fastest time in the practice session, was widely tipped as the man to beat in the rally stage. After Grobler blasted his way through a series of tricky jumps, the race cam gives a view of the action from inside the car. The tricky bits arrive at a rapid rate of knots in a rally car, and it takes lightning reflexes along with a huge amount of skill and control to keep the car more or less on course. While the driver has a steering wheel to hang on to and is busy concentrating on what he's doing, spare a thought for the poor navigator who can only hang on and pray. The Cars also take a pounding, but the standard Toyota Corollas stood up to the sort of battering that is definitely not part of the highway code. Nic De Waal is another of South Africa's top rally drivers and was determined to beat Grobler's time.
3, 2, 1, go!
Racing against the clock on a short special stage leaves no room for error. The race cam mounted on De Waal's car gives a tremendous feeling for the speeds rally drivers take in their stride on dirt roads. There is definitely no time for idle chatter while motoring at these speeds, with De Waal having to concentrate like a demon to avoid the slightest mistake that could lead to an off-road excursion and the loss of precious seconds. De Waal was really flying over what was the toughest special stage so far on the Firestone Master Driver Series qualifying rounds. As expected, the rally drivers dominated and took the top 4 placings. De Waal just pipped Grobler with Kassie Coetzee and Tony Ball 3rd and 4th.
Okay, Nic De Waal's time, 2:04,30.
The auto skills test was run at the main shopping complex in Lichtenberg, with drivers again having to compete against the clock while negotiating a preset course. While officials set up the course, the drivers went on the traditional reconnaissance for a discipline that more often than not provides a few clues as to which drivers will make it to the final.
Yeah, on the other side, if the front wheels are so much.
I want that one-legged bandit to give me.
Tony Ball is a former Natal rally champion who has built up a record for consistency in national championship events. After finishing 4th in the rally section, Ball needed a strong showing to set himself up as a leading contender for a place in the final. During the auto skills test, the drivers carry out a set of maneuvers which require concentration and car control. Failing to straddle designated white lines or knocking over markers carry a 10-second penalty and leave little room for mistakes. Ball was going well when disaster struck. He demolished what is loosely termed as a parking garage, and the resultant 10-second penalty, along with a little gear trouble, put paid to his hopes. Ball's indiscretion meant a little extra work for the officials. Shaun van der Linde is the son of Henny van der Linde, who is something of a legend in South African motor racing. Young Shaun started out in saloon cars, but has recently been making a name for himself in single-seater racing. Van der Linde is one of the young lions of South African motor racing, for whom a great future is forecast. Flinging a saloon car around a parking lot is a far cry from single-seater racing, but van der Linde looked to be heading for a highly respectable time when the parking garage also posed him with a few problems. The youngster never went to quite the destructive lengths Ball managed, but he lost valuable time that was to relegate him to midfield. Kassie Coetzee is a veteran Springbok rally driver who's on the comeback trail. After competing in top-class rallying for more years than he cares to remember, the Middelburg car dealer went into retirement at the end of the 1989 season. The lure of motorsport has proved to be too much for Coetzee, and he recently decided it was time to again pull on his driving gloves. A good run in the rally section showed that Coetzee has lost none of his skill and flair. A vastly experienced campaigner, the likeable Kassie was not about to make any errors in the auto test. Coetzee is one of the characters of South African motorsport, but he has a serious side that turns him into a cool and calm opponent when the chips are down. A highly competent display saw Coetzee edge ahead of De Waal and leave him handily placed in the overall competition. Hannes Grobler is one of those people who eat, drink and sleep motorsport. Apart from being a former South African rally champion, Grobler is a former national off-road title holder and is a highly competent performer on the track. The race cam provides an interesting view of Grobler at the controls. A friendly rivalry had developed between Grobler and De Waal. After narrowly being beaten on the rally section, Grobler was out to make amends. With typical flair and determination, Grobler turned in a masterly performance. He finished nearly 2 seconds ahead of Kassie Coetzee, with De Waal third, and put himself firmly in line for a spot in the final. Grobler's performance earned him applause from technical staff, spectators, officials and fellow competitors. The 1.64 kilometer Blue Circle Raceway, situated on the outskirts of town, was to provide the 8 hopefuls with a tough test. As usual, there was much pre-event activity as officials and technical staff prepared for qualifying and the 15-lap race. Tony Ball surprised everyone by snatching pole, but had Willie Hepburn to contend with on the front row. Nic De Waal was third fastest, with Russell Wood and Hannes Grobler sharing the third row. Shaun van der Linde was sixth fastest, followed by Coetzee and Round. When the flag dropped, the pressure was immediately on Ball, with Hepburn and De Waal trying their damnedest to get by. Ball managed to hold them off for a while, but the odds of him being able to maintain the advantage for 15 laps were rather slim. The race cam fitted to Ball's Toyota Corolla shows just how close the competition was. For Ball, the game was up, as first Hepburn and then De Waal slipped by at the end of the back straight. Despite having to drive with a leg brace, Russell Wood was putting up a fine performance and had moved up alongside Ball on the main straight by the end of the first lap. Wood got by Ball at the end of the main straight, and 3 laps later, Ball's rearview mirror was filled with John Round and Shaun van der Linde's Corollas. Van der Linde powered past Round and then set about challenging Ball. The talented youngster tried to make his move at the end of the back straight, but found his path blocked. Driving in Ball's slipstream gave Van der Linde the edge he needed. He finally overtook Ball in Westbank Corner. 2 laps later, Van der Linde challenged Russell Wood in exactly the same place, but Wood was not to be intimidated. A determined van der Linde made another attempt at getting by Wood at the end of the back straight, and after some fender bashing had to again settle for 4th place behind Wood. One could be forgiven for thinking that Wood and van der Linde had turned the race into their own private demolition derby. After 5 laps, Hepburn still led with De Waal a close second, but it was behind the leaders where the action was. Wood and van der Linde were still at it with a motorcycle ace holding the inside line. But then matters went horribly wrong as Wood lost control and spun out at Westbank corner. Wood emerged from the dust with nothing more than dented pride, but his Corolla looked a little worse for wear. 6 laps later, the 3rd-placed van der Linde was at it again. This time he spun all by himself at Westbank corner, but recovered without losing a place. Willie Hepburn drove a steady race to win and regain some of his lost pride after his disappointing performances in the rally and autotest. The final order saw De Waal finish 2nd with van der Linde 3rd. John Round recovered well to finish 4th ahead of Grobler, while pole winner Tony Ball had to settle for 6th.
Ek moes basies tweede laaste kom om genoeg punte te kry om deur te gaan. Die ander manne het so 'n bietjie gekamikaze voor ons en goed en ek het maar net 'n bietjie stadiger gery. En op die ouene het ek daarom dink ek omtrent 4 of 5 gekom.
The competition was extremely fierce this time. I enjoyed the rally stage very much in that it was a very good, it was a stage that was very good as far as rally stages go. The Gymkhana I didn't like. I made a slight mistake there in the garage. I couldn't get the car around, so I was quite disheartened after that. And I enjoyed the race very much. I just stuck in behind Willie Hepburn and made sure I get through to the final.
Nic De Waal and Grobler joined Glenn Hall, Terry Moss, Serge Damso, Steve Wyndham, Johan Evertse and Mike Briggs in the final of the Firestone Master Driver Series, which will be broadcast live from Kyalami on November 24. You don't want to miss the action.